What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of New Gameplay Today. I'm Alex Van Aken. Thank you for tuning into Game Informer. Today I'm joined by Editor-in-Chief Andrew Reiner. Hello, Reiner.
Hello, those are the best tight pants physics I've ever seen.
Oh, they look great. They look great. Almost as great as Mr. Blake Hester looks in tight pants. Hello, Blake Hester.
I do wear tight pants, so
yeah, I figured.
you're right on the money.
You play guitar, you rock out. I just figured,
That's all I do.
Yeah, that's Blake. Blake, what are we looking at today?
That's why all my articles are so late. Can't stop rocking out. We are looking at Lost Judgment, the sequel to the Yakuza spin-off series, Judgment, or Judge Eyes, if you live in Japan.
That's great. And this was it was recently announced that the Judgment series is going to carry forward the action gameplay that the series was previously known for, and future Yakuza installments are going to be the turn-based format that Like a Dragon popularized, right?
Which, it's kind of interesting. I can't think of it. I'm sure there are other series that do this, but none come to mind, where a spin-off actually carries on the historical legacy of the main series. In this example, it's just the combat, I suppose. But it's an interesting place for the side series to be in.
Yeah. But yeah, this is your footage, right?
I believe so.
So tell us about it. Tell us about Lost Judgment. How do you like it?
I like it. They gave us a lot to actually preview, in terms of all the different levels and missions we went on.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember exactly how many off the top of my head, but it's more than we're going to watch in this footage. But the basic premise is you are once again playing as once lawyer turned private eye Takayuki Yagami? God, that's embarrassing. Sorry, folks at home. You are playing as him again, and it picks up shortly after, I think 3 years after the first Judgment, and he is kind of brought on to a new case when a body is found in Yokohama, which was introduced in Like a Dragon, a body, let me say, fully decayed in one of their abandoned buildings. That is the introductory cutscene. And while that is happening, a man is on trial for groping a woman on the train, which seems like two separate incidents, but during his trial, he brings up the dead body, insinuating he might be involved with both. Maybe both crimes were committed at once, you're not really sure. But that is where Takayuki is brought on board to investigate that case. And then it's just a matter of getting to the bottom of it.
Interesting. Now, before we go further, Reiner, you are a fan of Judgment? You played Judgment, right?
I am, yeah. So Judgment, Yakuza was one of my big kind of blind spots in gaming. Mm-hmm. So when Judgment came along, it was like, oh, here's a great entry point for me to just kind of get my feet wet with these games, right? I've since gone back and played a number of the Yakuza games, really liked Like a Dragon, and but this, I'm super excited about this because, I enjoyed Judgment a lot.
Yeah, I'm in a similar boat. It's always been a blind spot. Like a Dragon was the first Yakuza game I played. Loved it. Loved Ichiban. And then through NGTs and other videos that we've done, replays, have dabbled in the others. So I'm really excited for Lost Judgment. But Blake, is there anything noticeable that we should be pointing out in this footage?
I mean, I'm just beating the holy hell out of these dudes and looking great doing it. So that's pretty awesome.
Where are we in the game?
I'm not entirely sure. I think this is maybe chapter 5 or 6. It's not in the beginning. The issue with previewing a game is they're so story heavy, and sometimes you lack a lot of context about what is going on. So the broad strokes of what is happening in this scene is I'm going to talk to a potential source about a case, and I'm ambushed by these masked men. That's about all I know. But one of the things I do, so we have a 4-page preview coming out in our upcoming issue. Maybe I shouldn't spoil that.
Nope. Yeah, no, that's good.
So one of the things we talked to the director about was Yokohama specifically, which is where we are right now. This game also takes place in Kamurocho, the original open world for the Yakuza series. I'm not sure if Dotonbori shows up in it. It might, because Like a Dragon had all three. But anyway, we're in Yokohama, which was introduced in Like a Dragon. And that game is a turn-based game, and this game is a brawler. So there are apparently a bunch of changes made to Yokohama that the player will never notice, which I found endlessly fascinating, to make it equipped for a brawler. One that you can notice is Yokohama is so big that you have a skateboard now.
That's awesome.
Skateboard around. It's not Tony. It's not skate. It doesn't control great, but it is very novel and fun to ride around. Yeah, the little thing I thought I'd point out.
That's awesome. Yeah, so we are talking to your potential source right now.
Yeah,
typical, you know, Yakuza Judgment, you know, trope. She's been intimidated. It goes awry, and you know, you got to figure it out. But one thing I do want to point out, and something, again, this is your footage, Blake, but as you sent it to me and I've been kind of piecing it together for this NGT, one thing I noticed was just like how pretty this game looks. Like it's a noticeable difference, a noticeable upgrade from previous games.
Well, I don't know if I necessarily agree. I think it's on par with Yakuza 6 and Like a Dragon and Judgment, because they're all made in the same engine. And aside from, well, Judgment, they've done a PS5 patch for at this point. But so all of those games now, except for Yakuza 6, I think kind of straddle the line of PS4 and 5. One thing I think in this preview is Yakuza has several different levels of cutscenes. They have the very static ones. They have the fully animated ones. And I think in this preview, we're just seeing all the main story cutscenes, which always look fantastic, are wonderfully choreographed. But I mean, to your point, there are, with any game, you know, made like there's going to be subtle enhancements and changes game over game, but I don't know if it necessarily looks too much better than, you know,
so here in a second, we're going to flip over to some new footage, another level, and that's where I felt like, and it's during the evening, so the sun is setting. I felt like the lighting was just really, really great.
I think all the Yakuza games, for the most part, I mean, at this point, 3, 4, and 5 are not aging super well. But I think all of them have a really strong look, especially when they switched over to the Dragon engine. Kiwami 2 was made in that, 6, Like a Dragon, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think they all look fantastic. You can just
for sure.
sometimes see where the budget went and where it didn't go in some of these games.
Yeah. So I saw that you were kind of looking at that photograph. That was a mechanic that was introduced in Judgment. Is that correct? Like kind of playing the detective stuff.
Yeah, a lot of the detective mechanics from Judgment carry over, and there's some new stuff which you'll see a little bit of in this high school level, where there's actually parkour now, too dissimilar to actually probably Breath of the Wild. You have a stamina gauge, which is interesting, and a very rudimentary stealth system, which is kind of cool. I mean, it's not Splinter Cell by any means, but it like gets the job done, and it's pretty fun. At least the level I played with stealth in it.
Because the last Judgment started with you like tailing someone, right? And you're just like standing behind billboards and signs, right?
Yeah, and let's call it for what it is. Those missions are terrible, and this game opens with one that goes on forever, which really bummed me out. It feels like it got off on the wrong foot. I'm hoping this is not as heavy with the tailing missions, because everything else in this is great, but man, the opening is a slog, which really is unfortunate. But I don't think we're going to be watching that footage. This high school, I'm still a little unclear on what exactly you're doing. I know you are infiltrating the high school undercover, based on the Mikoshiba case, which is the picture we were just looking at in the previous footage. And that is the body from the very beginning of the game that is found. Okay. Maybe he's a teacher here. I'm not exactly sure. These kids here are somehow connected to the Yokohama Liumang which is like the Chinese mafia from Like a Dragon and Yokohama.
I recognize that name.
Yeah, pretty interesting that they just have you beating the holy hell out of children. It's a very weird look, but it is what it is. This high school, though, apparently is fully modeled and explorable, from the outside, all the hallways and classrooms. I looked around it a little bit. I didn't go super in depth with it, but it's really cool looking. I mean, it's your standard Japanese high school, but if you liked that in like Persona 5, here you go. Here's another high school for you.
I got to point out, this is the second fight that has had awesome choreography in it.
Yes. Yeah. Hey, Reiner, let me pitch you on something right now. We should do a feature on who choreographs these fights for
Hey, it's great. Yeah, it looks fantastic.
Do a 13-page cover story on it. The voice acting, I think just by, I think the preview just came with the English preloaded and I didn't change it. Some of the English voice acting, pretty rough in this game. Some of the main characters are as good as they were in the last one, but I think when I play the game proper, I'll probably play it with the Japanese voice acting with English subtitles, because these kids are pretty grating.
Yeah, a little bit. No, but I'm really impressed with this showing of Lost Judgment. I assume I need to play the first game too, because I did not play Judgment.
I'm not sure. I mean, obviously this is.
You should. It's great.
Yeah.
You definitely should. I think it maybe is on Game Pass. I don't know. It's the same characters, and it picks up after the events of that. I'm a little unclear on whether or not the story of the first game is directly related to this one. It might not be. I also think RGG is just focusing right now on making entry points for new players, because this series is kind of blowing up outside of Japan in a big way right now, that they might have kind of tailored this to appeal to new players and old players, kind of like how they did with Like a Dragon.
Yeah.
And what do you got up here?
Oh, that was the parkour, by the way.
Yeah, I saw your stamina bar was depleting slowly.
Yeah. I think the parkour is cool. I had a lot of fun experimenting with it. Not experimenting with it, playing around with it. Not doing a good job.
I think you just got a new skill.
Yeah, but I didn't put it to use. Can't be reading a book on the ledge of a building.
Fair enough. Well, Blake, when is this game out? What platforms? All the usual gist.
You and Alex Van Aken, this is completely fair of you to assume I would have prepared this answer and would know this off the top of my head. It's September 21st, 2021 for PlayStation 4, Series X and S, Xbox One, and PlayStation 5. I don't think PC release is confirmed yet, but we'll see.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me on this episode of New Gameplay today. Folks out there, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you like this kind of video, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.